Welcome back to WagerTalk.com. College football action, Georgia Tech at NC State. This is going to be Brian's play. And Brian, wow, this Georgia Tech offense, they're rolling right now. 43, 56, and 35 points in the last 3 games. The triple option in high gear. And this is your game, so I'm going to let you start it off.
Yeah, this all comes down to a team that can't stop the run against a team that's running the ball really well. NC State hasn't stopped the run all year. And if you go back earlier in the year, they played Georgia Southern. And that was a big shocker originally when the game was going on, because Georgia Southern had their way. A team plays the same offense as Georgia Tech. NC State couldn't stop them. Then all of a sudden, NC State has a big fourth quarter and wins that game, I believe, by a point or two. Mm-hmm. We've since found out that Georgia Southern is a pretty good team, and it's been a very good moneymaker for people who have backed it. But this NC State team is coming off their first conference win in, 12, 13 games? So they're fat and sassy, Marco, a fat and sassy NC State team off their first win, and they're playing a team that's going to run the ball right down their throat. Georgia Tech's clicking on all cylinders right now. I thought this line was cheap. Unfortunately, I bet this at 5. Now I can lay 3. So it's 3.5 out there now. So money has come in on the home dog, but Georgia Tech. Too many teams in Georgia. That's the problem. But Georgia Tech is one of those teams that can run the ball down your throat, and they will against this defense.
I'll let the first one slide, but just so you know, I have Fat and Sassy trademark. You have to pay me $1 anytime you use it.
Take it out of my first check.
All right, what a guy. I look at this game, and, yeah, you could call NC State Fat and Sassy beating Syracuse last week, but have you looked at the schedule that NC State has just played? They're coming off the toughest section of their schedule, because in the last 5-week period, they've played Florida State, Clemson, and Louisville over that 5 weeks. Those are all the elite teams of the ACC. Georgia Tech hasn't played the elite teams. Georgia Tech's doing this. Yeah, they're winning. They're scoring a lot of points, but they're doing it against lesser competition. And I think that early money move that you saw, because I kind of lean the other way in this one, we're probably going to have 2 lunch bets this week, I believe is the sharp money, and I kind of agree with it. I think that Georgia Tech is a little bit overrated right now. And yes, Georgia Southern gave NC State problems. And one of the reasons we talk about these triple option teams, the reason that they do so well is teams just not used to playing them, and it's hard to prepare for them. The fact that Georgia Southern ran that against NC State, it's the same triple option that Georgia Tech runs. That's going to give NC State a little bit better preparation, because they have game film from the Georgia Southern game to look at and say, hey, this is what we did wrong, this is, and to make some adjustments. I use that as an advantage for NC State playing a team a second time running the same kind of offense.
I would agree, but that was a long time ago when they played them. And you talk about their win last week, it was over a freshman quarterback with a banged-up team. So I'm not giving them much credit for winning that game. Now they're stepping up in class. Georgia Tech stepping down, stepping up.
I'll give you that, but I'll tell you something else that Georgia Tech might be stepping into. They might be stepping into a look-ahead situation, because next week they play Clemson at home. It's going to be a huge game for the ACC standings.
This is a team playing very well right now. They're not going to overlook NC State.
You're a team as bad as NC State that lost 4 games in a row and got a win.
They're on a winning streak.
A win
the
over that.
The coach is going to tell them they're an improving team, that they're on a winning streak.
All right, this is your official play, so you're going to go ahead and take it. We're going to make a double lunch bet.
Well, let's do the double lunch. We might as well make it dinner too, lunch and dinner.
There you go. All right.
Of course, as cheap as I am, if I lose any of these, we're going to the buffet, and we'll sit there all day through lunch and dinner.
I taught you that trick. All right, guys. Brian says to take Georgia Tech. This is his official play. We got a bet on it. I think that NC State has a good shot of pulling an upset here with the scheduling situation. I'm a situational guy. Hey, if you want to head over to WagerTalk.com, we've got a great deal. We've been running it the last few weekends. Everybody's been taking advantage of it. Pick your favorite capper. You can pick up his plays from Thursday through Monday for $69. All access all weekend long. Get all of the plays. Brian, get all of his plays. If he's got any big plays this weekend, you'll get them. Of course, you know I got a 5% play going. That is included in the package, just $69 for all weekend access. All right, that wraps up the college action for this week. We're going to head to the NFL, see if me and this guy buck heads in the NFL or not, or if we agree. That's up next on WagerTalk.com.